Okay, I am going to be reading for you Lesson 2, Spanish Influence. I think there's an easy way you can do this. If you open up your Chromebook, which you probably already do since you're watching this, if you open two tabs, one tab can be the YouTube video going in the background, and the other tab could be the link that I sent you with the text. So if you have both open, you can listen to me read. And if you have the other tab selected, you can follow along with me on the screen as I read through this. This will be helpful for the writing activity that goes afterwards. So here we go. Coronado and his search. One of Spain's purposes for sending explorers to the Americas was to find gold. When the viceroy or governor of Mexico heard reports of cities of gold to the north, he wanted to claim them for Spain. The cities were said to have walls of gold blocks, gates studded with precious jewels, and streets paved with silver. In 1540, the viceroy sent Francisco Vasquez de Coronado to search for Cibola, the golden cities. On his journey, Coronado saw a Zuni pueblo near the present-day border of New Mexico and Arizona. The walls that were supposed to be gold were merely adobe shining in the desert sun, but Coronado did not give up. Coronado sent search parties in different directions. You've read about the group that went west. They became the first Europeans to see the Grand Canyon. Another group came upon the Gulf of California. A group that went east explored Pueblo villages on the Rio Grande in what is now New Mexico. Meanwhile, Coronado's party had heard about a mythical city of riches called Quivira. They traveled as far as present-day Kansas, but they found no gold. They found only herds of buffalo and Native American villages. Coronado returned to Mexico and reported that there was no gold. His expedition was labeled a failure. Review. What did Coronado and his explorers find on their journey instead of gold? And here's the map. So here's Mexico, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona. Spanish missions. When the Spanish moved on to what is now New Mexico, they brought missionaries with them. A missionary is a person who is sent into other parts of the world by a religious organization to spread its beliefs. Spanish missionaries in the Southwest set up missions, which were their headquarters. Each mission tried to support itself by raising cows, pigs, and sheep. Mission farms also raised crops such as corn, beans, fruit, and pumpkins. Over time, the mission spread into Texas and Arizona. In 1687, Father Eusebio Kino founded 3 missions in present-day Arizona, where he taught Native American Pima and Yuma people for 25 years. He was kind to the Native Americans, and they were devoted to him. One of his missions, Mission Dolores, which was in Sonora, Mexico, had a ranch with cattle and sheep, wheat and cornfields, and orchards. It even had a water-powered mill so the people who lived there could grind their own grain. Mission San Jose in San Antonio, Texas, was established in 1720. It was so beautiful that it was called Queen of the Missions. Most missions were enclosed by stone and mud walls with wooden gates that could be locked. They had buildings for the missionaries, offices, and a church. Missions also had rooms for Native Americans and others who lived there. The purpose of missions were to claim land and to make Christians of the Native Americans. The Spanish government supported the missions because they wanted the Native Americans to become good citizens and loyal subjects of the King of Spain. The Spanish also saw the Native Americans as laborers. Most Native Americans who lived at the missions were put to work farming, making leather goods, spinning yarn, and weaving cloth. Native Americans were persuaded to enter the mission in exchange for food and protection from enemies. Sometimes, however, they were forced to live and work at the missions. Some Spanish viceroys treated Native Americans cruelly, but some missionaries were kind to the Native Americans and protected them from the people who mistreated them. Some Native Americans who lived at the mission married and built homes near there. In time, pueblos grew up around missions. The mission priests allowed the pueblos to govern themselves with some supervision from the missionaries. Review. Why were Spanish missions started in the Southwest? Remember the Alamo. The Alamo was one of 5 Spanish missions in San Antonio, Texas. Its real name is Mission San Antonio de Valero. It was built in 1718, when Texas was still part of Mexico. In 1836, a band of Texas settlers used the mission as a fort to fight for independence from Mexico. All the Texas soldiers were killed. Soon after, Texas won its independence with the rally cry, "Remember the Alamo." Today, the Alamo is a historical site. Other missions are part of the San Antonio Mission. I totally blew that. Today, the Alamo is a historical site. Other missions are part of the San Antonio Mission National Historical Park. Some, such as Mission San Jose, are still active places of worship. Only the chapel remains of the mission that the Texans used as a fort. And here's a little side note for you. If you want to watch a funny movie on your quarantine, watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure. There's a whole thing in there about him going to the Alamo. Watch it. You'll love it. It's silly fun. Influence of Spanish and Mexican culture. The influence of Spanish and Mexican culture can be seen throughout the Southwest. Some of the Spanish mission churches are still standing. By 1610, the Spanish had founded Santa Fe, the capital of present-day New Mexico. Santa Fe is the oldest center of government in the United States. Today, many Spanish-style buildings can be seen in the Southwest. The culture of Native Americans from the Southwest of Mexico influenced the culture of the region. Mexican and Spanish foods are popular in the Southwest. Bright Western clothing and lively music are a result of Mexican influence. Many people in the Southwest celebrate two important festivals that have their roots in Mexico. The first, Cinco de Mayo, celebrates a Mexican victory against French forces at Puebla, Mexico in 1862. The second, Mexican Independence Day, is also known as 16 de Septiembre, which is September 16th. The festival celebrates Mexico's independence from Spain. Modern ranches also reflect the influence of Spanish culture. The Spanish were the first to bring cattle to the region. They started the cattle ranches of the Southwest. Spanish cowboys, called vaqueros, handed down the skills used by modern cowboys: herding, cattle roping, branding, rounding up herds, and riding on trail drives. Also, the Spanish were the ones who brought, this isn't in the book, but the Spanish were the first people to bring horses to North America. So that's how horses got here also. Even the language of the Southwest uses many Spanish words. The wooden pen for cattle and horses is called by the Spanish name corral. The ropes used to capture steers and horses are called lassos. Ranch comes from the Spanish word rancho. Many people in the Southwest speak both English and Spanish. Review. How did Spanish settlers affect cattle ranching in the Southwest? Summarize the lesson. 1540, Coronado set off in search of gold. This is before the Pilgrims arrived in America. 1610, city of Santa Fe was founded. This is before the Pilgrims arrived in America. So out in the West and the Southwest, there's a whole lot of stuff going on that the people who were coming to the East Coast probably had no idea of. They had no way of getting there other than walking. 1687, Father Kino founded missions in Arizona. 1720, Mission San Jose was established in San Antonio. So this is before America was officially a country, and these things weren't even considered states or anything like that. This was just a place that probably everyone on the East Coast didn't even know existed. And today, Spanish influences can be seen throughout the Southwest. Okay, that's it. Thanks for listening and following along.